could evolve like that. So yeah, this was new for me as well. Last week I had no idea about this, so I'm actually quite happy I stumbled upon that and learned something about that myself as well. So yeah, that's enough for the viewers' questions. I hope I explained it clearly. It took me quite a while to actually figure out exactly what happened, but yeah, I think it's a fascinating thing. But on to actually the next topic for today, and that works better. At least we got a half picture, and that's snake venom. And snake venom is also an adaptation from something that was already present in an animal. In this case, the snake saliva, and by the changes in the saliva actually becoming more toxic in that sense, actually it made the snakes more successful, and that's how it developed in that sense. But yeah, let's first get back, because there's a lot of confusion or things people about what is a poison and what is a venom. People talk about poisonous snakes and poisonous frogs and poisonous scorpions, but actually the correct term is to call it a venomous snake or a venomous scorpion, whereas frogs typically are poisonous. And the difference is as follows. Venomous, in fact, I've got this quite nice definition from Wikipedia. Venomous refers to animals that deliver, often have to inject the venom into their prey when hunting or as a defense mechanism. So that means there's an active method of delivery of the toxin. Whereas poisonous describes plants or animals that are harmful when consumed or touched. If you think about the toads or the frogs that are poisonous, even if you touch their skin, the poison that is on their skin, secreted from the glands, can actually be absorbed through your skin, and that can make you sick. Whereas if you think about a snake or a scorpion or a bee, for that matter, they have to sting or bite you to get the venom, in this case, into your body. Pure technically, by this definition, you could drink snake venom, you could drink it, and as long as you don't have any like lacerations or an ulcer or something, you would be quite fine. I don't advise you to try that, but pure, let's say hypothetically, that should not be a problem. But that's basically the difference between a venom and a poison. Both are toxic. It's just a method of delivery actually that determines which is which. And it's all a matter of definition. So if you call one thing poisonous or venomous, it's not a big deal. It's just, if you want to be completely correct about it, then that is the difference. So snakes are venomous, scorpions are venomous, spiders, bees, wasps, all are venomous, whereas certain plants like I think poison ivy and things like that, that's actually called poisonous, because that's just by touching and absorbing through your skin. Now coming back to snakes, because that's actually what we're about. In southern Africa, so that means South Africa and also Botswana, Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Angola. There are 146 species of snake. Other books say 143, but even nowadays, still new species are being discovered every time. So that's why the exact number is not exactly clear. Of these, only 37 have a venom that can cause any kind of symptom in humans. And sometimes of these 37, it's no more than a bee sting or anything else. And only 15, only is about 10% actually known to have killed people. But even then, they've killed people, but it's very rare that it actually happens. As you can look for the statistics for South Africa, there are about 10 to 20 snake deaths per year in South Africa, whereas about 200 people get killed by lightning. So that gives you an idea about how rare it is actually to get bitten and killed by a snake. So yeah, there's nothing really to be afraid of. You just need to be careful and aware of your surroundings. And that's something that Peter also keeps always repeating in this morning in the walk again. When you are out there, and as long as you keep your wits about you and you keep to be alert, then animals will spot you early before they do, and they will typically move off and cause you no harm. Now, as I said in the beginning, snake venom is actually it's a modified saliva. Nowadays, there's some research going on that also thinks that some other juices, like from the gallbladder, might also have mutated and have become part of the snake venom. But the consensus at the moment is that it is mostly from the saliva glands, and it's a cocktail of different proteins and enzymes, and I'm sure you've heard the term proteins and enzymes. Those are basically biological molecules that we need actually to live and to survive. And most of them are harmless, but some of them can be quite toxic to other organisms. And those toxic effects actually you can divide them in 3 ways. And different groups of snakes have different kind of venoms. Now those 3 ways, I'm just quickly going to describe them to you guys. The first one is a cytotoxic venom, which actually cytotoxic means it attacks the tissues. And that means if a snake with a cytotoxic venom bites you, you're not going to be paralyzed or other things, but typically it's quite a deep bite that you get from snakes that do that, and from there actually your tissue starts swelling up, and actually the tissue starts dying slowly, so you get very, very large, actually very ugly looking wounds. And no worries, I'm not going to show pictures of that. Oh, okay, there was a bit of a flash there. So that's the cytotoxic venom. Neurotoxic means, as the name already says, it attacks your nerve system. So that's the type of venom that will often cause paralysis, or it will cause you to stop breathing, or give you a cardiac arrest. That's often, snakes that use it, it's often a quite fast acting venom, where cytotoxic works over a longer period of time. And then there's a lower number of snakes that have that type of venom. It's a hemotoxic venom, which means it attacks your blood system. It stops your blood from clotting, so that actually means you get a lot of internal bleeding, and that actually in the end can cause you to die, the prey animal. That is in many cases extremely slow acting. Sometimes, let's say in case a human gets bitten by a boomslang, which is one of the snakes that is hemotoxic, it can take 24 to 48 hours before you actually get to see symptoms, because it takes a while to get into your bloodstream and start working actually. Although that sounds a bit strange in this context. But yeah, those are the 3 main types of snake venoms. And interestingly enough, there are clear groupings within the snake order that actually use different kinds of venoms. No snake typically is 100% cytotoxic venom or 100% neurotoxic. It's all a cocktail of things, but they do have specializations in there. If you look at, for instance, the cytotoxic ones, that's mostly the vipers that will have that type of toxin or venom. And vipers is then the puff adders, the gaboon adders. Adders is actually in Afrikaans or in Dutch the same name as vipers. What you call in English a viper, in Dutch or Afrikaans we call an adder. So that's why puff adder is actually a puff viper, if you could call it that. But it's a bit of a local name. Let me just. When you speak about neurotoxic venoms, that's mostly all the cobras and the mambras, or not all of them, most of them. And hemotoxic venoms are the boomslang and a twig and vine snake. At least in the southern Africa area. Other parts of the world have more snakes that have this type of venoms, obviously. To become very specific about species that you could see in the area where we are at the moment, in Juma and the southern part of Kruger and this general area. With regard to the cytotoxic venom, the puff adder is actually the most common one, and puff adder is also one of the snakes that bites humans. Let's say, a large percentage